Now at 5, long lines and stressed out poll workers. Coming up, hear how Utah voters feel about last night's busy in-person turnout.
We asked direct questions today about not releasing vote totals until the last ballot is cast.
Will you revisit that?
Brent, she's already answered that twice.
Plus, what's next for some of the biggest debates facing our country?
Abortion, economy, and more. See what could be in store after a change in power. 2 News at 5 starts now.
This is breaking news on 2 News at 5.
We are following breaking news at this hour. Crews on the scene of a house explosion and massive fire in South Jordan. Thanks for being with us for 2 News at 5 tonight. I'm Heidi Hatch.
I'm Mark Cabell. The call came in just after 3 o'clock this afternoon of a violent explosion that shook a neighborhood.
We want to get out live to Jake Taylor, who's live near the scene. This is at 105th South and 3200 West in South Jordan. A scary sight there, Jake.
Yeah, as you said, I'm here in South Jordan. You can really see it behind me, the smoke billowing into the air. That's where this house exploded. At the base of that smoke, there's a group of firefighters on top of that pile of debris, which is really what was left of this home, of this building. I was able to, just a few minutes ago, speak with Deputy Chief Ryan Lessner of South Jordan. He was able to tell me that the home is pretty much destroyed. The 2 neighboring houses to the left and right of it sustained some minor damage. They have been evacuated. The big question, of course, what caused this explosion? That's something they're looking into. They do not have a clear answer right now as to what caused this home to explode. Certainly they're looking into it. They're trying to determine that. Behind me, just behind that fire truck, there's a gap in that fence. Debris really strewn across the road, pieces of glass. Beyond where the road reaches, you can really see a bit some of the impact, the power of this detonation that occurred earlier this afternoon. Now, I did ask the fire chief how long they're going to be out here trying to contain this fire, put it out. He told me it's going to be at least hours more into this evening. Live in South Jordan, Jake Taylor, KUTV 2 News.
All right, thank you, Jake. We'll continue to follow that story. If we get any new information, we'll have it for you. Well, last night the results came in, but it took a while.
Today, the governor and lieutenant governor saying the policy of not reporting election results until the last vote in the state has been cast will stay in place. Brian Malahy live in West Valley City tonight. Brian.
Yeah, West Valley City Hall was a busy place last night. Long lines, even after the polls closed. In the line by 8 p.m. last night, you could still vote. A late surge of voters with time-consuming same-day registrations, along with direction from Lieutenant Governor Deidre Henderson, meant no vote totals were released until after 10 p.m.
We wouldn't do anything differently in terms of releasing results.
She called it an unfortunate but understandable delay.
Your decision to not release the vote totals until after the last voter had cast a ballot. Will you revisit that?
Yeah, Brent, she's already answered that twice. This is a decision we made several years ago when I was the lieutenant governor. You keep asking that question. You do not release results while people are voting. That is voter intimidation. That is election interference.
Yeah, I think it's a good practice.
Voter Chelsea Parr agrees with the governor and lieutenant governor.
States are still able to vote when other states are closed.
But voter Mark Madsen says counties should be able to report as other counties are still collecting their votes. And there were people for and against this on social media. Will there be any changes from the LG to county clerks to try to make the election smoother? Henderson says yes, related to provisional ballots and same-day registration. Live in West Valley, Brian Malahy, KUTV 2 News.
Brian, thank you. Voters in Utah County still taking in the overwhelming in-person turnout that led to hours-long lines there at several polling locations.
Ariel Harrison in Provo for what county officials say caused some of those delays. Ariel?
That's right, Mark and Heidi. The county clerk I spoke with tells me that the demand for provisional ballots along with same-day registration really led to some of the significant delays they saw at polling locations like the one I'm at here in Provo. Last night we captured some of that video of those long lines at some of the voting and polling locations. People who were standing in those lines, some of them reporting up to 2 hours of wait times. The county clerk spoke with me today and said while they planned and prepared for Tuesday, it wasn't enough. He said the provisional ballot demand was incredible, something one woman saw south in Payson too when she went to vote. I asked if it took her by surprise to see so many people waiting in those long lines just to cast ballots. Does that surprise you?
That shows me a lot of faith in Utah, that we're willing to wait that long to have our voices heard. I think that's awesome that they were willing to wait.
Now, coming up at 6 o'clock, hear more directly from Utah's County Clerk Aaron Davidson and why he says the long delays happen not just here in Utah County, but other polling locations all across the state. Reporting live in Provo, Ariel Harrison, KUTV 2 News.
This afternoon, Vice President Kamala Harris calling President-elect Donald Trump to congratulate him on winning the 2024 presidential election.
Jamie McGriff on the live desk with the details.
Well, Harris thanked supporters at her alma mater, Howard University, and acknowledged that she fell short. CBS News exit polls show Harris fared worse among Latino voters, young voters, and women compared to Biden's results in 2020. Harris's defeat caps a whirlwind campaign after President Biden stepped aside this summer and the Democratic Party coalesced behind her.
The outcome of this election is not what we wanted, not what we fought for. Hear me when I say, the light of America's promise will always burn bright.
Harris called President-elect Trump today. A senior aide says that she discussed the importance of a peaceful transfer of power and being a president for all Americans. The Trump campaign also weighed in on the phone call, saying in a statement that Trump acknowledged Vice President Harris on her strength, professionalism, and tenacity, and both leaders agreed to the importance of unifying the country. On the live desk, I'm Jamie McGriff.
Jamie, thank you. A majority of voters in Utah County favored the split of the biggest school district in the state. Once the results are certified in a couple of weeks, the Alpine School District will start the process of splitting into 3 different districts. In the coming months, parents can expect town hall meetings. They will help inform parents as the district splits, which should be completed in the fall of 2027. So there's some time here. Coming up on 2 News at 6, Kristen McPeak spoke with the current board member, and we'll have a timeline on that transition process as it happens. You can stay with 2 News for all the election results and news. You can find the latest results on your local races and information on KUTV.com and also the 2 News mobile app.
Hey, take a look. Brian Head Resort getting ready to welcome skiers and snowboarders on Friday. This will mark the second earliest opening day in the resort's 60-year history. Opening day terrain will feature 4 trails open with top-to-bottom skiing on the Paradise Trail. A first chair celebration will take place at 10 a.m. at the Navajo Express lift. Here we go.
Here we go, indeed. This morning the sun was shining. I went out for a walk and I was like, wait, this is cold. It looked nicer than it actually was.
Looks can be deceiving, Chase.
It can. But if you're, if you're in the afternoon and you have light winds, and today's been a little breezy, it's not too bad. But that temperature is definitely beginning to drop because we're just a couple minutes away from sunset. Here's a live look from the top of Deer Valley as we look at Jordanelle. The Wasatch back tonight will likely cool off into the teens, so bundle up. And you can see those runs, they're starting to look a little bit more white. We're just a few more weeks away from some of our resorts in northern Utah that will be opening up soon. 43 degrees currently in Salt Lake City. Those wind speeds around 12 miles an hour. You got to factor that in. Our wind chill, what it feels like 37 degrees. But take a look as the sun sets over the Ochre Mountains. Few clouds, should be a gorgeous sunset here in the Salt Lake Valley. Now at 8 o'clock though, we're already at 35, and once again we'll likely drop below freezing by tomorrow morning, upper 20s with clear skies. We've had a couple showers today across the Four Corners. This is the same storm system that brought the snow yesterday. It is stalling over the Four Corners and producing heavy snow in New Mexico and across Colorado. Also, we have some gusty winds behind this storm. So coming up, I'll let you know how long this storm could linger and where we expect some gusty canyon winds. That full forecast is coming up in about 10 more minutes.
All right, Chase, thank you. If you see a great weather shot, capture a cool moment, we would love to see it. You can share it with us using Chime In. You can find it on the 2 News mobile app or on our website. Just go to KUTV.com. The FAA and the NTSB now investigating after a plane headed from Mesa, Arizona to Provo, Utah crashed last night during takeoff. Preliminary reports indicating the jet attempted to abort takeoff before crashing through an airport fence, then colliding with a vehicle, killing the driver and 4 of the 5 people on board. The youngest killed in that crash was 12 years old. One person, a teen on the plane, survived and now hospitalized with burn injuries. A final report on that crash could take up to 2 years.
A Grantsville teacher has pleaded guilty to several charges, including sex abuse of a minor. Richard Craig Harrison, a teacher at Grantsville High School, was charged back in 2022 with abusing a former student between 2017 and 2018. The student was 14 years old at the time of the abuse. Harrison will be sentenced on January 13th.
A Saratoga Springs woman accused of taking part in a failed suicide pact with a friend now headed to prison. This morning, a judge sentencing Heavenly Faith Garfield to between 1 and 15 years behind bars. The sentence comes after she accepted a plea deal. Prosecutors say that Garfield shot and killed her friend, and she was supposed to take her own life, but was too afraid to kill herself.
Crews from the Hurricane Valley Fire and Rescue put out a barn fire in Springdale. Happened last night along North Fork Drive. When crews arrived, they found the barn fully involved and a small brush fire was spreading due to the winds. No injuries reported, but several chickens inside the barn died. The cause of the fire still under investigation today.
Utah DWR now reminding people that it's illegal to dump unwanted pet fish in local ponds or to use live bait fish or move sport fish from one body of water to another. This year, biologists discovered fish that were illegally placed into several bodies of water, including Utah chub in Millsite Reservoir. Biologists are also continuing to monitor Strawberry Reservoir after an illegally introduced walleye was caught there last December.
Tonight on 2 News at 10, imagine beating traffic by taking an air taxi. Sounds like something out of Tomorrowland, right? But it's a vision that Utah is aiming to make a reality soon.
What do you expect to see as far as air mobility?
I expect to see operators here moving people around.
Tonight at 10, Kristen Kenny dives into Utah's push for futuristic modes of transportation. That's tonight on 2 News at 10.
And happening tonight, Utah State men's basketball back on the court, taking on Alcorn State. It is the first of the 11 Aggie games we'll be broadcasting this season on KMYU TV. Tonight's game tips off at 7 o'clock.
After 4 years, Republicans have taken control of the Senate, while the House still too close to call today. How abortion measures that were on the ballot fared across the country coming up.
And stocks closing with a record highs as Wall Street reacted to Donald Trump's win, why some investors say Trump's economic policies will boost the economy.